Have you ever tried to ignore something that your heart simply refused to let go of? Maybe you convinced yourself that staying silent was the safest choice, that pretending everything was fine would somehow make the ache disappear, that if you stayed busy enough, smiled long enough, or distracted yourself long enough, the feelings would eventually fade away. Yet love has a remarkable way of refusing to be buried beneath routines, responsibilities, and distractions. It whispers when the world becomes quiet, reminds you through ordinary moments, and gently asks you to pay attention to what truly matters. Today, I want to share a message that many people need to hear because sometimes the greatest lesson about love begins with the words, "I tried to ignore this, but I can't." This is not just about romantic love. It is about the love that teaches us to become kinder, wiser, and more compassionate human beings. Love is one of the greatest educators in life because it reveals parts of ourselves that nothing else can. It exposes our fears, our hopes, our insecurities, and our capacity to forgive. Many people think ignoring their emotions makes them stronger, but emotional intelligence teaches us something different. Suppressed emotions rarely disappear, they simply wait for another opportunity to be heard. When we refuse to acknowledge what our heart is trying to tell us, we often carry invisible burdens that influence our relationships, decisions, and even our physical well-being. Research in psychology consistently reminds us that healthy emotional awareness is connected to greater resilience, stronger relationships, and improved mental health. This does not mean acting impulsively on every feeling. Instead, it means recognizing our emotions without allowing them to control us. There is incredible strength in saying, "This feeling exists, and I am willing to understand it." Sometimes love is not asking you to chase someone who has already walked away. Sometimes it is asking you to heal the parts of yourself that still believe you are unworthy of being loved. Sometimes it is asking you to forgive yourself for mistakes that happened years ago. Sometimes it is asking you to appreciate the people who quietly stand beside you every day without expecting applause or recognition. We often overlook the simplest forms of love because we become distracted by dramatic stories. Yet genuine love usually appears in ordinary moments. It is the person who checks on you after a difficult day, the friend who listens without judgment, the family member who quietly sacrifices for your happiness, or even the stranger whose unexpected kindness restores your faith in humanity. These moments may seem small, but together they create a life filled with meaning. If you have ever found yourself pretending not to care while secretly hoping someone would understand your silence, know that you are not alone. Many people wear emotional masks because vulnerability feels risky. They fear rejection, disappointment, or heartbreak. But the paradox of love is that true connection becomes possible only when we allow ourselves to be seen honestly. Authentic relationships are built not upon perfection but upon sincerity. They flourish when two imperfect people choose kindness, patience, and understanding over pride and fear. Perhaps you have spent months convincing yourself that everything is fine. You smiled in photographs, completed your daily responsibilities, and told everyone you were okay. Yet deep inside, there remained a quiet voice saying, "Something still hurts." Ignoring that voice does not make it disappear. Listening to it with compassion can become the beginning of healing. Healing is not weakness. Healing is courage expressed through patience. It means allowing yourself to grow without demanding instant transformation. Every meaningful journey begins with acknowledging where you truly are instead of pretending to be somewhere else. Love also teaches us that timing matters. Not every conversation belongs today. Not every relationship is meant to continue forever, and not every goodbye is a failure. Some endings create space for healthier beginnings. Sometimes the greatest expression of love is respecting another person's journey while continuing to honor your own. Letting go does not always mean you stopped caring. Often it means you care enough about yourself to choose peace over constant pain. That choice deserves respect, not guilt. One of the greatest misunderstandings about love is believing that it should always feel effortless. In reality, healthy love requires emotional maturity, honest communication, empathy, forgiveness, and mutual respect. It asks us to become better listeners, better learners, and better partners, whether in romance, friendship, or family. Love grows where humility lives. It struggles where pride refuses to move. Every disagreement offers an opportunity either to build understanding or deepen distance. The choice belongs to us. Imagine carrying a backpack filled with stones every single day. At first you become accustomed to the weight, convincing yourself it is normal. Then one day someone gently removes one stone, and suddenly you realize how heavy your life had become. Emotional burdens work the same way. We often become so accustomed to carrying regret, resentment, fear, or loneliness that we forget life can feel lighter. Love invites us to put those unnecessary stones down one by one. It reminds us that forgiveness is not always about excusing another person's actions. Sometimes it is about refusing to let yesterday continue controlling today's peace. Blessings often arrive quietly rather than dramatically. They come disguised as lessons, second chances, meaningful conversations, unexpected encouragement, or the strength to keep going after difficult seasons. Sometimes the blessing is not receiving exactly what you wanted but discovering that what you truly needed was personal growth. Looking back, many people realize that moments they once called heartbreak eventually became turning points leading them toward healthier relationships and greater self-understanding. That realization does not erase the pain, but it gives the pain purpose. If your heart has been whispering something you have tried to ignore, perhaps today is the day to stop running from it. Listen carefully, not with fear but with curiosity and compassion. Ask yourself what your emotions are trying to teach rather than immediately trying to silence them. Every feeling carries information, and every experience carries a lesson if we are willing to learn. You deserve relationships built upon honesty rather than confusion, encouragement rather than manipulation, and respect rather than control. Most importantly, you deserve to become someone who offers those same qualities to others. Before we continue this journey together, remember one simple blessing. May your heart find the courage to face truth with kindness. May your mind discover wisdom through every experience. And may your life become a reflection of the love you choose to give. Receive and protect, because sometimes the most powerful words we can ever say are not, "I have everything figured out," but simply, "I tried to ignore this, but I can't," and that honest beginning can become the first step toward a future filled with deeper understanding, lasting peace.